while we were playing hide and seek. I locked my daughter in the wardrobe where she was hiding. Opened it again.
Hide well. I'll come find you later.
Then the rest of us Zanes ran. My wife, Helen, my son, Aaron. And I moved away as quickly as we could. 20 years later, I came back to bury her. I stood in front of that damn wardrobe. And then,
You finally found me, Daddy?
it all started when Aaron was preparing to get married. His future in-laws insisted that both families see a psychic before the wedding. They believed a marriage should begin with a proper blessing. So my wife and I went. We thought it would be a formality. But after the reading, the psychic looked up at us with a grave expression and said,
You have another child, don't you? One who hasn't come home in years.
My stomach dropped. I turned to Helen. She looked pale as hell. She knew what I was thinking. The psychic kept going.
A marriage like this needs the whole family present. If someone's been left behind, whatever is following them will follow the couple too.
What do you mean, following them?
The old man just shook his head.
Better not to ask. You have a daughter, don't you?
Yes. But
It's her. She's been begging to come home and she's become something powerful.
I was confused. My daughter was dead. Dead for 20 years. How could she want to come home? How could she be powerful?
Some spirits don't rest easy, not when something was left unfinished. Your family has a missing piece, and that kind of absence doesn't stay buried. Go home, make your family whole again, then come see me.
We left. Faster than we had arrived. Back home, Helen sat on the couch, trembling.
What do we do? We moved, we ran, we left her there. How are we supposed to bring her home now?
I ran my hands through my hair. Anxious. Aaron was engaged. Our future daughter-in-law's family was rich and prominent. Her people had money. And influence, more than we ever would. Aaron couldn't afford to lose a match like this. I couldn't let the ghost of our daughter stand in the way. I had to find a way to deal with it, with her. My daughter's name was Katie. If she were still alive, she would have been 28 this year. When Katie was 8, my wife, Helen, and I decided to move to the city for work. Life was hard enough already, and trying to start over with 2 young children felt impossible. The day before we left, Helen suddenly said she didn't want to take Katie with us. She only wanted to bring our 7-year-old son, Aaron. My parents were already dead. There were no grandparents to leave Katie with. If we didn't take her, there would be no one to care for her.
She doesn't need anyone to care for her. We'll lock her in the house and act like she was never born.
I stared at her, stunned, but she didn't seem bothered in the slightest.
What's so shocking about that? We can't afford to drag 2 kids into a new life. One of them was always going to slow us down. Aaron comes with us, Katie stays.
But
Enough! I've made up my mind. Just do what I say. Tomorrow, I'll show you exactly what to do.
Helen had always favored our son over our daughter. And once she decided something, there was no changing her mind. The next day, we packed as usual. Katie and Aaron were both excited, running back and forth, stuffing their toys into the bags. When it was almost time to leave, Helen gave me a look. I knew exactly what she meant. I hesitated for a long time, but in the end, I walked over to Katie.
Katie, Daddy's tired from packing. Want to play hide and seek?
Katie frowned. She never liked hide and seek much.
I don't want to play. I want to help pack.
Then Aaron chimed in at exactly the wrong moment.
I want to play! Katie, please play with us!
I rarely spent time playing with the children. Aaron was always eager for any scrap of attention from me. Under her brother's pleading, Katie finally gave in. So I played along for a while. Fake smiles. Fake laughter. Pretending everything was normal. Then Helen gave me another look. The bags were packed. Everything was ready. It was time.
Last round. This time Katie hides, and Aaron and I will look for her. Katie, you'd better find a really good spot.
Helen joined in with a smile that made my skin crawl.
Don't worry. I know the perfect hiding place. They'll never find you there. Come on, sweetheart. Mommy will take you.
She led Katie toward the storage shed. No one but Helen and I knew there was a cellar underneath it. My great-grandfather had dug it years ago to store grain in case of famine. Later, when life got better, it was abandoned and left to rot. There was an old wardrobe down there. It had been there for as long as I could remember. It was thick, heavy, and impossible for a child to open. When Helen led Katie down into the cellar, I saw the padlock in her hand. A little while later, Helen came back up. Alone. That same night, we called the police and told them our daughter was missing. Back then, child trafficking cases were all over the news. And Helen cried so hard in front of the officers that no one ever suspected us. 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. We went back to our hometown a few times after that, but Helen and I never spoke about what we had done. We never went down into the cellar, either. But this time, for Aaron's wedding, I had no choice. The psychic had made it clear, our family had a missing piece. Katie had never been laid to rest. If I wanted nothing to interfere with my son's marriage, I had to go back. I had to find her. And bury her properly. Helen said.
Then go. Right now. Whatever you do, don't let this ruin Aaron's wedding.
I drove back to my hometown that night. The house was an old single-story place. I kept all the lights off the whole time, afraid the neighbors might notice something strange. I found the shed, and the concrete slab covering the entrance. The moment I lifted it, I felt something was off. A gust of wind came up from below. Cold, sharp. It hit me right in the face. And that wasn't all. The instant I opened it, I heard a bang. Heavy, dull, solid, like something had suddenly slammed into the wardrobe underground. I held my breath and listened carefully. A few minutes passed. The strange sound didn't come again.
Just a rat. Just a damn rat.
I went down to the basement, same as 20 years ago. Empty, dark. Flashlight swept the space. Only that wardrobe in the corner. Paint peeling. Padlock still locked. No smell. 20 years had passed. Katie must have decomposed beyond recognition by now. Any smell would have long since faded. I let out a breath. Then I took out the key Helen had given me, and reached for the lock. Suddenly, my first thought was that someone had followed me.
Who's there? Who's here?
I looked around carefully. No one. But in the corner, I found a dried-up carcass. Didn't matter. I went back to the wardrobe, took a deep breath, tried to calm myself down. I was too nervous. That had to be it. This time, I heard it clearly. It came from inside the wardrobe right in front of me.
Daddy. Daddy, is that you? I've been waiting for you for so long. I'm right here in the wardrobe.
Holy shit. It really was Katie's voice. How was that possible?
Daddy? Why aren't you talking to me? Open the door!
She still sounded like that same little 8-year-old girl. How was that possible? Locked inside an airtight wardrobe for 20 years. Even if she hadn't suffocated, she would have starved to death. So what the hell was inside that wardrobe?
Open the door! I want out! Daddy!
The wind, the thud, the voice!
Wayne, are you making this up because you're too scared to bury Katie? How could something this creepy even be real?
I swear! I heard her! She's still in there!
Fine. If you're too much of a coward, I'll do it myself.
She slammed the door and left. I sat on the couch, trying to process everything that just happened. I cracked open a six-pack, drank until my hands stopped shaking. How could a child survive in a sealed metal box for 20 years? No air, no food, no water. Unless it was a ghost. But how could a ghost be trapped inside the wardrobe? Why did it knock? Why did it sound like her? With all these thoughts, I passed out, and woke up to screams. Helen was shaking me. Her hair was matted with dirt. Her jacket was torn. Her eyes were wide.
You went back?
I went down there. I heard it. That voice. Everything.
What did you do?
I opened the door.
হ্যালো বাংলাদেশ, ওয়েলকাম টু ফ্রুট আওয়ার্ল্ড।
দেশে দেশে মেতে ওঠে মন, সাদে মেশে হাসির রং, হাত বাড়ালেই আনন্দ ঝরে, ফ্রুটো রসে মনটা ভরে, ফ্রুটো রসে মনটা ভরে।
হ্যালো বাংলাদেশ, ওয়েলকাম।
I couldn't process what she had just said. I slowly turned toward the door. There she was, wearing the exact yellow dress with tiny blue flowers. Her hair was tied into two neat ponytails. It was as if she had only been gone for 20 minutes.
Daddy, I'm home.
My heart stopped. It was definitely Katie, my daughter, the one we had buried alive.
Don't come closer!
She stopped, just stood there, obedient, just like she had always been.
This is impossible. She'd be dust. She'd be gone.
What do you mean, Mommy? I'm right here.
Nothing, sweetheart. Mommy is just upset.
Wow, is this where we live now? I love it. I want to stay here forever. By the way, Daddy, where's Aaron? Didn't he want to play hide and seek?
Well, he went out to take care of something.
Helen evasively explained.
Yeah, I braced into something he knew I send anymore.
Lear, kids don't have things to take care of.
Katie, sweetie, Daddy and I need to talk. Just for a minute.
Helen was so overwhelmed. She grabbed my arm and shouted.
You play for a bit?
Helen didn't wait for her answer. She shut the bedroom door and whispered.
Is she human?
How would I know? You were the one who let her out.
Oh, cut the crap. Like I know any better. Jesus. Let's just...
She took a knife out of the drawer.
No, you can't just kill her. She's Katie, our little girl.
We already killed her once, Wayne. What difference does it make this time?
I snatched the knife from her hand.
No. Not again. We were poor and desperate back then. Now Aaron is grown, and we can afford to raise an 8-year-old.
But I couldn't tell Helen about this. I really missed Katie, how I had tricked my little girl, how I had betrayed her trust, how she had looked at me with those innocent eyes. And now, she came back. Maybe this was my second chance. However, I still had to figure out why she hadn't aged and what had happened to her all those years. Helen was still hesitating. Then she continued.
Are you out of your mind? If they find out we buried her, our son's life is over. No job. No future. No grandkids.
Suddenly, an idea flashed into my mind. I opened the drawer and took out a business card. A private investigator's business card. The one I'd found shoved under our door weeks ago. Helen frowned.
Where did you even get this?
None of your business. Anyway, he's our only shot. She had been going out a lot lately, and I had started to suspect she was cheating on me.
I dialed. A young voice answered.
Hello?
Mr. Shaw?
Yes, how can I help you?
I told him everything. The silence was long enough to make me think he had hung up. Finally, he said doubtfully.
So,
You mean your daughter stayed in the wardrobe for 20 years? She doesn't eat, doesn't drink, doesn't age, just still 8?
Well, that's about it.
I've never heard anything like this. Very interesting. I'll take the case. But you better bring her to me. I want to see this miracle with my own eyes.
I hung up, walked back into the living room. Katie was curled up on the couch. Her head rested on her arm, her eyes half closed. She smiled when she saw me.
Daddy, are we going to see a friend?
Yeah, sweetheart. Just for a little while. Do you want to come with me?
She climbed right onto my lap, just like she used to.
Of course, Daddy. I always want to stay with you.
I met Jamie Shaw, a private investigator. He poured me some tea and gave Katie something sweet. He chatted with her about normal kid stuff. Favorite books, cartoons, and games. Katie answered the same thing she would have answered 20 years ago. After a while, he pulled me aside.
Mr. Zane, it does seem that your daughter really came from 20 years ago. This is the most unusual case I've ever seen in my career. Have you ever heard the theory that there are strange spaces in this world where time moves abnormally? Sometimes much faster, sometimes much slower? What? Something like that really exists? Out here? 20 years. In that wardrobe? Maybe only 3 days. She didn't age because she never left the moment you locked her in.
He pulled an old newspaper clipping from the shelf. He pulled an old newspaper clipping from the shelf.
1892. A man was stranded on a remote island for 25 years. When he was rescued, aside from his grown-out beard, he hadn't changed a bit.
My hands shook.
That's real? Real enough to be recorded. So, she's not dead. She's frozen.
This case is too strange, so I've decided not to charge you. I want to know what is really going on as well. Also, I would suggest a paternity test. From a biological standpoint, it would tell you whether she's biologically your daughter.
How much would that cost? $2,000. But I know a lab that'll do it cheaper.
I thought of my son's wedding expenses. Everything cost money.
No need. I know my own daughter.
All right, then let's